All right, Bobby, welcome back, man. Always a pleasure to get to talk to you. Excited to have you on. As you were saying, I was saying, like, man, this must be a real exciting 2 weeks for you. And your response was more so, yeah, it's exciting, but we keep it on the level. How much do you get to celebrate a win like that fight that Shock had with Fulton?
Celebrate how? Well, how would you celebrate?
That's a good question. How would I celebrate? I'd probably be hanging out with them, and I don't know. That's a great question. I'm trying to think back when my fighter would win fights. The one I was managing, it'd be a late night. I'd be there till the end of the night because I was talking to the promoters and getting the money and yada yada. And by the end of the night, I'd come home and go to sleep, and I was exhausted. And yeah, and then I was looking for an opponent the next day. So I don't know. I don't know. What is celebration as a trainer?
I mean, I really don't. I like being with my family, so that's to me, that's my reward. Just being home and So literally right after his fight, we took some pictures, and then I was back on the road heading back to Houston. It's a 3-hour drive from San Antonio to Houston. I literally the fight, packed up my stuff and got in the car and drove back. That was it. So I don't. The next morning, I was up playing basketball again. So.
Yeah. So is that? I mean, I gotta imagine though. There's got to be some emotional high after like such a solid win, right? Like so that drive at least. I'm assuming you're buzzing, right? Like there's got to be a lot of excitement.
It's exciting, but I try not to. So like you can problem with is getting that high, and then you have to crash. So I try to just stay level no matter what happens. Like the losses don't get too low, and the highs don't get too the wins don't get too high. Don't get just stay level. It's For me, that's how it works. I don't like I said, I don't celebrate. I don't drink. I don't party. I don't like big crowds. So to me, I'm just I come home and hang out with my family, and that's my reward.
Absolutely, absolutely. Um, do do you feel like there's an element too of like because these fights, it's yeah, obviously you all work really really hard leading up to the fight, and there's these big bright lights, and you have cameras, and there's a ring announcer, and it's just so big. It's almost a relief afterwards to just come back and be in a quiet house and just be with your family and kind of do just the normal stuff after something like that. Do you get that feel?
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. That's exactly what I do. I mean, it's it was, so this one especially, we had 4 full camps for this guy. So it's a long year. We were supposed to fight him in June and then again in August and then September. And then, we end up fighting him in December. So, uh, it was a long, long process.
Would you say that's probably part of the reason why when he comes in a little overweight, it's like, no, no, you were having this fight. Like, this is going to happen.
And no excuses. Yeah. We had to do the same thing, so there's no, listen, it happens. I get it. I mean, not, there's some can't you just some guys just every now and then they can't cut the weight. They just do it wrong or they calculate it wrong, and you get to a point where you can't make it. I've had it happen to me, and you get they they're stuck, and they can't hit that weight. And then you think, oh, it's just 2 pounds, but it's really not. They started to cut from a farther away, so it's not 2 pounds. That's the dried out point, and when there's no more coming, it ain't gonna come. So you can sit in the sauna for an hour and then still be the same exact weight. Your body shuts down.
Yeah, unless you're trying to cut an organ out of your body or something, you're not going to find that weight anywhere else.
I've seen guys shave all the hair off their body, all kind of stuff. I mean, they they'll try everything.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and I thought, all I see is up to this point, I haven't talked to you about the fight, so all I know is what I've seen in the telecast and what they've talked about. But it didn't sound as if you all were really too nervous about that weight. From what I understand, Shock actually said he's like, I'm going to go up in weight anyways. It's fine. Like, what's 2 pounds if I'm going to go up to a bigger weight? Like, it was very matter of fact and sort of doing the opposite of making excuses, like finding reasons why he's okay with fighting a guy who's a little bit bigger.
That's definitely that definitely shocks mentality. I mean, if you've he sparred middleweights in the gym sometimes, and that's just how good he is. I honestly, he's a small guy, but he carries himself big. He's so like his he can I can see him fighting at 47. And then really there's some 47 pounders out there that I wouldn't be scared to put him with right now, just because his skill set.
And that's essential. I also heard he has I don't remember the exact term, but essentially he's going to be granted the opportunity to retain his championship and go up in weight so he can fight two weight classes. Does that make you nervous as a trainer to fight between two weight classes, like the idea of going up to a weight and then coming back down?
No, I mean not for him. For some guys, yeah, some guys are just they can't carry that weight like that. But for Shock, I don't worry about it. He, like I said, I could see him going to 40 and then 47 also. I mean, just skill set alone, I think he's that good. I mean, he's finally getting some credit for what he did the other night, and really long deserved for me. I was like, I mean, stuff we've been seeing his whole career, how good he was, and they finally starting to like, wow, oh. But then you still got people out there that said, what was wrong with Fulton? Well, I'll tell you what was wrong with Fulton. Shock. Shock was wrong with him. Shock. You know how hard it is. They were talking about Fulton going to the Hall of Fame before that fight. Like they were like, oh, he's going to be in the Hall of Fame. 3-time world champion. All this. Well, okay. So if Shock makes you look like that, what's that say? You know, if a guy can make you look that bad, I mean, I don't. He didn't win a round. I don't care what the judges say, and I don't know what 50 punches that he landed because I saw maybe three shots that he may have landed that grazed Shock that never hit him flush. So same thing with Ray Vargas though. Shock did the same thing to Ray Vargas. He dismantled him, shut him down. I mean, they said Ray Vargas landed 160 something punches, and when I go back and watch it, I'm like, well, where are they at? Show me where they're at.
Yeah, well, and I think giving some grace, giving the most charitable response to judges in the case of judging Shock. His defense is very, very subtle. It's not as if he makes you miss by a mile. His head movement's really subtle. He stays in the pocket. He's constantly in front of the guy, and you see punches coming. I could see how depending on where you're sitting, you could mistakenly think something might have been a grazing shot when it absolutely didn't touch him or it hit the gloves. Because he's always right in front of the opponent. So one thing that a lot of people were saying was they wanted to see him take a more definitive stance to winning. So there's sort of pressure on him. It's like, hey, you're really good, but we want to see you push the action more so than I guess countering, which he's very good at. Did you all feel that at all going into this fight, or is that something you even talked about?
Well, that's what we trained to do. Like, I mean, you saw what he did. Exactly what the camp went just like this. The sparring sessions were like that. Everything was exactly what he did in the gym is exactly what the fight looked like. I mean, his spacing was perfect. He was, like you said, he stays in the pocket. There's been some fights, like the first fight with Conceição, we used a lot of more lateral movement. And I really, that was one of his better performances too, the first one when they robbed him. But this fight, Shock's, he's a special kid. He can do a lot of different things in there. I mean, the fight down in Mexico, he showed, even like same thing where they could rob us. So he dug deep and knocked him out. It was just it turned into a fight, and he can do that too.
It's
But
ex-
he's a great boxer first.
yeah. I was gonna say it is exciting seeing him fight because he can do it. He's very good on the inside, and he doesn't like to. He always gets his get backs. If someone hits him clean in the pocket, he typically gets him back one or two times, and it always has the potential to become explosive at different parts of the fight if the other guy's willing to go with him. Uh, you know, with Fulton, I say this, I respect all fighters. I say it with all due respect. I think you noticed by about the third or fourth round, Shock's jab was just, I mean, it just wouldn't, he was in so much control with the jab, and he's doing it to the head, then he goes to the body, then he switches to southpaw, and he just is letting the jab go, and it's like there's no answer for it. And then from there, then he really starts, bringing his left into it from the southpaw stance, and it was like you could tell by about the third or fourth round there was a lot of frustration from Fulton. You could tell at that point he was like, "What am I going to do?" It was very early in the fight when you started seeing his body language change, and the frustration set in.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I saw it in the first round. I could see like he was that, and then that's what people don't realize is you look at Shock and you watch his videos and you think, okay, whatever. But when you get in there with him, it's a whole different ballgame. His vision is special. His reflexes are like no other. So I think, I mean, just like I said, I'm happy for him. He's getting his credit he deserved. It's been a long time, and I hope they don't say, oh, it was because Fulton was messed up or this and that, because it doesn't matter. Fulton's still a two-time world champion, a great fighter. Like you said, I respect all fighters. Me too. And Fulton has had some really good nights. And then, to look like the way Shock made him look, he checked out. I think he checked out about halfway through the fight. He was just like, all right, I'm just going to make it through the fight. Because, like you said, had he tried a little harder, I think we would have stopped him.
Absolutely, and it was, you can kind of see his stand came around like right when Shock went to southpaw. That's when things started really getting out of control. Like he was really taking over, and I think that's when Fulton kept trying to move to his right, and Shock's just very good at his lateral movement, not just cutting it off, but staying right in front of him the whole time. So he just couldn't get a new angle or reset himself, and then you saw him start to take a couple more chances, and that's when the counters started coming, and that's when I think he was just like, okay, that's yeah. Not to disrespect him, but I think that's when psychologically it went from I'm gonna come to win to like I'm gonna make it through this fight. I'm gonna go 12 and we'll just finish the night.
Definitely.
So the training, obviously, you said like he fought exactly how he trained. Is there any now with your training camps? Are they all from one fighter to the next pretty uniform, or would you say you do it differently for Shock than you would for other fighters?
Yeah, definitely. They're all different. I just try to learn what fuels him. What with Shock, most of the time, like I told you before, I just kind of leave him alone. Like unless he's making a mistake, he's got a good vision. But I really, it's with him, just kind of leave him alone. Let him do his thing. He's got an idea of what he wants to do, and then unless he starts to make mistakes, that's the only time we get on him.
And when you're training for this fight, what did the game plan look like going into this one? What were you guys sort of expecting to do or planning to do in this fight?
I mean, exactly what he did. That's it. Literally, I'm not that right after when we walked back to the locker room, I said, "This is exactly how we trained." The fight went exactly, and it doesn't ever go like that, Like we've had. You always think it's going to go a certain way, but this is exactly Shock did exactly what in the fight what he did in the gym. I mean, it was exactly how he trained. So there was no. It wasn't a big surprise, It was pretty simple.
And was the plan to have the jab be such a prominent punch? Because it literally was the punch for him for a lot of the fight, and it really established everything else.
Yeah, the jab upstairs and to the body was the biggest. That was the biggest plan, to break him down. But and then to stay in range and not jump back too far. Shock really wanted to stay, not pull up and back and get that give he didn't want to give Fulton time to rest. He wanted to make him work the whole fight. Remember, like Fulton's really good at like on inside game. Like he's good at grappling, and punching while he's in there. And Shock never let him do that. He shut that down from the first round on. Fulton couldn't close that gap and use his holding skills against us.
Yeah, that was really noticeable too. You would see if it seemed like Shock always had him in range where he'd be at the end of his straight shots, but not where Fulton would be able to return it. And then if Fulton did close that gap, it would be the most subtle push. It wasn't even anything that the ref would call, but it's just a little push off and then reset, and it was like right back to work. So the big thing, and I always wonder this when I see fighters do this, when he switches to southpaw, is that something that's planned or discussed, or is there something he's that you all see? Like, what? Why does that happen?
It's a feeling for him. It's not planned. I mean, he knows at some point in the fight he's going to switch, but he didn't look at the Ray Vargas fight. He didn't switch at all. I think they were expecting, and I think Shock was dominating, so he didn't need to. He just stayed how it was. But it's just a feeling. He'll see something, and he can fight just as good left-handed as he can right-handed. So it really doesn't for him. It doesn't matter. Some guys can't do that. He can.
Yeah, and what was kind of interesting was when he switched to southpaw. I noticed Fulton was going towards Shock's right hand. And as soon as he switched southpaw, you saw him going the other way. And I kind of see that, and I'm like, why would you want to go to the power hand? But maybe he didn't expect as much power that he'd be as good with his left hand. It didn't make a difference. He cut the ring off anyways. But I noticed that change. Is that something you all notice and sort of will game plan for in the fight, or is it just Shock's on fire, like let him go?
Yeah, Shock just makes the adjustment. That's. I mean, obviously we train for everything, but um, Shock will he'll adapt to the situation in there, and he'll go to work off of it. And some guys. So look, there's few guys that can go into the power hand that I've seen do it. I mean, it wasn't good for Fulton, but like I've seen like Trout, Shock does it too. Shock when he's southpaw, sometimes he'll move to that towards the right hand, because he wants you to throw it so he can counter. And Trout used to do the same thing. Trout would he'd get a little weight on his front leg and pull you in and walk that way to where whenever you shoot that right hand, he was ready to counter with his left hand. But those guys have a different vision. Uh, Definitely on a on a basic guy, I would definitely try to dismantle that power hand.
Absolutely. Um, so obviously he wins this fight. It goes absolutely according to plan. Is there anything you see in that fight that you have to come back to the drawing board and go, okay, this is a great fight, but I noticed X, Y, Z? Or, I mean, is there ever a 10 out of 10 fight? Is that one of them? Or is there something you see from that where you go, well, we could work on this?
You always got something to work on. Any good trainer can look at a fighter and say, okay, he's got to do this, he's got to do that, but I mean, I don't know, other than stop him, but it's hard to stop a great fighter like that. Fulton's a great fighter. If a guy doesn't want to get stopped, they know what to do. They know how to, I mean, at one point he told Shock, "I'm not a bitch," That was later, I think, like the 11th round. But then he still didn't stay and fight with him. I thought he was going to. I thought at some point he'd be like, "All right, let's go." But
Yeah.
he was smart, and when they get like that, especially for a good fighter, it's hard to stop them.
So, I mean, it's hard to, I think in general, it's really hard to stop a guy whose goal is to survive. And we've both seen so many guys in boxing who might have an upside down record, like totally upside down, but they've
Yes,
never been stopped. So, I mean,
definitely.
if somebody wants to survive, there are so many tactics to survive a fight and to stay away from getting hurt, especially if someone's at that level. Like Fulton's a very very good fighter. I mean, he's not an upside down record guy. So I think we've seen it before too. I think there was like one of the more recent ones that was really prevalent. I think was Canelo when he was fighting Charlo. It was like Charlo could probably exchange more and try to win this. He's not. He's going to stay away. So really good fighters, yeah, they could make a living out of not getting stopped, and it's just they're not going to make a good fight by doing that.
Right, definitely.
Um, so uh, When you watch that, obviously you say like, "Hey, this was he did everything by the book. We're proud of the work." What are the things he showed you in this fight that you didn't see before that he really added or did better than he has before?
Just the range for me. But it's all. Listen, it's what he does. It's it's how it's in his mind. If he has a vision, he can follow through with it. I mean, the Ray Vargas fight. I think our spacing was good. I think we kind of did the same thing. We dismantled him and then beat him down later on. And same thing. He didn't take any chances late. And if you go watch all Ray Vargas's fight, every fight he finishes like he's bombs away. And that fight, Shock shut him down. He didn't want to take those chances because he would have got stopped. But this fight was, like I said, it was his spacing, not stepping back so far. That was the biggest thing, and making sure his feet stayed under him. But I mean, that's exactly what he did. Exactly how we trained is exactly what he did.
And you say, he carries this weight really well, and you can very easily see him going up to, 147 at one point. Is the next, I'm sure this is a decision that he'll make and there are other people involved, but I'm assuming the next step then is to go up to 135.
Depends if we can. I mean, he made 30 easy. This camp was probably the easiest he's ever made 130. He didn't struggle at all this time to make 130. He struggled a couple times. He doesn't struggle a lot anyways, but this time was probably the easiest. So he's got no problem making 30. But I'm sure if the opportunity came up for a big fight at 35, he would go.
And if say that opportunity doesn't come or there isn't anything that you see, there are other belts, right? There are other fighters at 130. Would that be the other option?
That'd be that for me. That's the perfect scenario. Let's unify. Let him unify the belts. You got Nunez and what's his name fighting? That fighting in a couple weeks.
I have to look it up myself.
Yeah, Nunez and yeah, we were supposed to fight him, but they didn't give him to us. Uh, he's the other champion. He's Yeah. I'm right now. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank. Tall Hispanic guy beat Dogbo. Beat he fought beat Valdez twice. What's his name?
I'm blanking myself.
Tall.
I'm trying to find it. Hold on.
It's all good.
We'll get to it.
I'll
That's
think of
fine.
it.
We'll get to it. But I mean that essentially though there's a division full of belts and guys who the general being totally honest, the general sentiment that you kind of see going around, and you're more inside of it than I am, but the general sentiment is a lot of other guys at 130 saying like, yeah, Shock's all right, he's good, he had a good win, that's fine, but we don't know if he's going to be at our level. Is that something that drives you guys, or do you hear that stuff at all, or is it sort of out of sight, out of mind?
I don't pay attention to that. I think Shock does a little bit, and I think it fuels him. I mean, this fight he was really felt like he was disrespected, and he was. They were. I mean, you had guys. I mean, Andre Ward was talking about the extensive amateur career Fulton had. Well, Shock was an alternate on the Olympic team. So what? He just. I mean,
Yeah.
what? What about that? It's not like Shock didn't have an amateur background or what. So but Shock he lets that fuel him, and it's like pouring gasoline on it.
So and one thing I noticed too is when he fights, he's you can see it in his body language. He seems to be completely keyed into the fight, like is hyper focused, like on a very very like micro level. He's looking and observing everything. Is that him in the gym too? Is he always like that?
Yes. Yeah, he's definitely like that. And he always tells me like, make sure I'm having fun. So every now and then I'll just throw it out like, hey, have fun, Shock. So that little stuff he says to keep it. He's not like sometimes it gets too easy and it gets kind of boring, you know. But if he's having fun, it's not.
Absolutely. Um, so we kind of talked about what might be next for him, or who could be next. If you were to, I'll say it like this: if you were to pick who he fights next, if you were to say this is the guy I want, who would it be and why?
Uh, Probably the winner of Nunez and whoever, I can't think of his name. It's driving me crazy.
Is it her? Is it
Um,
Herrera?
no, no. Mm, yeah, I
All
can't
right,
think of his name right now.
we're
It's
gonna get
driving me
this
crazy.
before we're gonna get this before we get out of here.
Look up Oscar Valdez. He beat Valdez twice. I can't believe I can't think of his name right now. I'm punchy.
You know what the problem is too? There's just a lot of boxers. It's a lot to store in a dictionary of a mind to like remember. Oh, Navarrete,
Navarrete, yes,
Navarrete, yeah.
yes, Navarrete, yeah. So that would be. I thought we were going to get him right after Shock beat Conceição the second time. I thought that was going to be our fight, but they didn't. They didn't give him to us. Um, but now they're doing him and Nunez. They're unifying. I think that would be a great fight for Shock. It would show he would. I think he would dominate either one of those guys, and it would just add to his legacy. You know.
Absolutely. And he's still. I mean, listen. It's not as if he's still got a lot of legacy that he can build too. I mean, it's crazy when you have a guy with such a long road ahead of him, and the way that he fights and the way that he's carried himself. He's not. It's not as if he's going to be shop worn anytime soon. So like, there are so many good fights for him to make, and like you said, over like several weight classes too.
Yeah, definitely.
No, that'll be exciting. Okay, so that'll be we'll have a little bit of time. So that's going to be on February 28th. So that'd be exciting. Yeah, I mean, if he gets a winner of that, that's also going to be two belts, and then I believe that's is that unification at that point.
It would be. Yeah, they've got two belts. They've each got a belt.
Yeah. So then
So then
they
we have the WBC. They've got the BO and the IBF, I think.
who who has the fourth belt?
There's a guy in England. They just well, what's his name had it. He just vacated it because he moved up to 40.
Was it
Uh,
Tank or
no, the one that just fought Pitbull. Man, I'm
Roach? Roach.
yes, yeah, Lamont Roach. He was 30-pound champion that night. So now they've got there's a guy in England. He's like 35-5. I can't remember his name either. But he's they just gave him the belt, not gave it to him. I'm sure he was like interim champion, so they leveled him up or whatever.
Gotcha. So I mean, that could be a really if he gets this fight and he gets two more belts, that could be a pretty quick path because now he's got all the chips. You got three belts. I mean, I'm jumping ahead, right? And then he's going to move up to heavyweight, you know. But really, like it could be a short path to unifying all the belts. Be very exciting.
Yeah, it definitely could.
Awesome, awesome. Well, Bobby, what else? What else do you have? Like, who do you have fighting next? What's next on the docket for you?
I have uh, 2 weeks before that, I had Milan Pratt. He just fought for the EBU title, and he's a French kid. He fought over in France. He won, so he's now ranked in the top 15 of all the organizations. Hopefully, he'll get a shot soon. And then I got Johnny Tapia, the kid from Brownsville. He's down here training with me, and he's fighting Henry LeBron on the Serrano card in Holly Holm and Stephanie Hahn card in Puerto Rico,
That's awesome.
uh, January 3rd.
That's gonna be. I think that's gonna be a card that's gonna draw a lot of attention too. Serrano's, as far as women's boxing goes, right now she's getting very, very big.
Yeah, well, and Holly Holm too. She's got a big name too. So, and
Absolutely.
Stephanie Hahn is the Hahn family is they're good friends of mine. I trained AB Hahn, with Louis Louis Burke for a while, and their whole family can fight. So Stephanie's now she's a champion fighting Holly Holm.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. What are the big plans for? Obviously, we're the Christmas holidays are coming up, or we're in them, and Christmas is coming up. You have any big plans over the next few weeks?
Just training, So I'm back in the gym. One of the fighters, funny. The that Monday I was back in the gym, up on a ladder, hanging bags. A couple bags fell down, and one of the fighters comes in and he's like, "Bobby, what are you doing? Like, you can't do that no more. You got champions." I'm like, "No, nothing changes, man. It's right back to work."
Staying down to earth.
Yeah.
Do you all operate like all holidays? Christmas Eve, Christmas.
Well, Christmas we won't be there, but for Christmas Eve we'll train. Especially Tapia's got a fight, So if we got a fight coming up, we're staying in the gym.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. You got anything else before I let you go? Anything else? Anything coming up? Anything exciting to announce?
We have I got a bunch of guys fighting, but then we have a local show. Miguel Flores is fighting the main event February 21st, and then Ray Talib, he's a 154-pound guy. We have he's fighting the co-main, and it's a cross-town. He's fighting a kid from Houston, so it'll be a big show for here because they're like rivals across town.
Does Houston show out for that? Like if you have a crosstown rivalry, different neighborhoods, different parts of Houston,
Definitely, yeah, they
that
definitely show out for that.
that's how it used to be in Chicago. It used to be a lot like that, where all the Chicago promotions were typically kids from Chicago fighting, but just different neighborhoods, and it became a real thing where it's like everybody gets this guy's back versus this. It's just the crosstown rivalry brings energy to smaller and like local shows.
Yeah, it's what you want. It's hard to get for Houston. It's hard to get the guys to go up against each other like that, but when you do it, they definitely show out for it.
Yeah, it's good for boxing too. I think like having regional elimination style fights where it's like who's the best from here. And if you have guys from the same city or the same state or neighborhood and they're not fighting each other, it's like it's the easiest way for them to figure things out and then sort of level up from there.
Yeah, level up. Yep, exactly.
Right on. Well, Bobby, I appreciate you, man. Thanks for always taking the time with me. Also,
Anytime.
so excited to talk about that fight. Watching it was just like he was awesome. I'm so excited for what you guys are going to do next. I'll be watching and always going to be a huge fan. So thank you so much.
We'll see. Thanks, Jess.
Thanks, Bobby.
Appreciate it.